Hello and welcome to Football United TV. I'm your host Matt King and I'm here with Luke, Man United fan. How you doing, mate?
Hello, thanks for having me back on again. Pleasure to be on.
That's all right. Thank you for coming in. I'm actually not at home today. I'm at the Welwyn Garden City Football Club ground. Great. But I've got a stand behind me, so it kind of like adds to the atmosphere. Luke, let's start off with first of all, what's happened in Champions League this week and like how that is for Man United, seeing as we could be the sixth top team not making Champions League.
Yeah, every team in the top six, other than Manchester United, has got it all to play for going into these last couple of weeks. One of the best weeks we've seen ever Champions League football, an all-English final in the Champions League and Europa League. And although you've got to put your hands together and say well done to all the other clubs, it is very painful for Manchester United. And I really hope going into this summer, it's the wake-up call that we need to back on and get our club back into shape.
I hope so too, mate. I mean, we've Man United have been having some big issues recently. The way we played recently as well has not been very good. And you look at, like I say, the other top five teams have reached finals. Every single team has reached a final. And we haven't done that this season, which, okay, fair enough. Doesn't always necessarily have to be. But what do you make of the fact that, especially actually, I heard news today that we might be signing a right winger from Leeds. Is that correct?
Is it Swansea?
Yes. Sorry, Swansea. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Daniel James. Left winger. So, yeah, it's interesting. They are the sort of signings that I'd like to see Manchester United for. We've seen us go for the Gareth Bale type signing with Zlatan and other such players. Obviously, in recent history, Alexis Sanchez is the player that comes to mind. And it's the sort of player I want to see. And yeah, there is a cynical part of me that does wonder, though, have the club released this news to sort of suppress any bad feelings around the club? What do you think?
It's hard to say, mate. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, every time he comes out in a press conference, he seems well hidden about what he actually knows. You know what I mean? He won't specifically say things, and it's hard to tell what exactly is going on behind the scenes at Man United. After what's happened this week, mate, I'm really I just don't know what to think about Man United at the moment. The way we've spent, the way our academy is, the way our scouts are, the way we haven't got a footballing director, and the teams that are in Champions League finals and Europa League finals and in top four have got that. And I don't know. It's so hard, mate. Honestly, I can't really put my finger on it. Like you said, I mean, what do you think? What do you think exactly about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and what's happening?
For me, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the only person in that club that I trust. I don't trust the board. I don't trust the players. I don't trust the owners. The only person I trust is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's a very honest man, and he's got his best intentions at heart with the club. And I think with Solskjaer, it's going to be a learning process. It's going to take time. We can't expect to win a title for a couple of years. That doesn't mean that you have to lower your expectation as a Manchester United fan, but you have to take into consideration what the clubs around us are doing and accept that this is a project. And I'm more than prepared to give this club time, as long as they take the necessary action to bring this club back onto track. There are up to, I'd say, double figures, 10 players that we need to get rid of in the summer. And if the club doesn't take that action in the summer, which I'm very worried it won't do without a director of football in place, then that is when we need to start looking at the board and thinking about where the issues lie at this club. I'm more than prepared to give it this summer to realign ourselves and put us back on the right track. But if that action isn't taken in this window and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't backed, then the fans have a responsibility to take action against the club and bring it back to where it deserves to be.
Agreed. Definitely hearing in the press today about Dybala possibly getting an 86 million bid from Man United. How do you feel about a signing like that? Do you think it's players that have the retrospect of being in a top-class team, or do you think it should be players that deserve to be in a top-class team that haven't actually, like some of our reserve players that are playing at Aston Villa and where else are they playing, mate? All over the world, aren't they? I mean, we had
Fosu Mensah he was at Fulham.
Fulham and Aston Villa. Yeah, I mean, you got to look. I mean, we had Pereira was at was it Valencia last season on loan?
Yeah, and he was at, I think, Granada before that. He was on loan for 2 seasons.
That's right. And it didn't go well for him. I mean, does that put off players in the academy thinking that they, even if they go on loan, that could be a possibility? It doesn't look like they're giving. It looks to me like they're sending off players on loan just to sum up the books, and they won't give them another look into the first team. I don't know what you think about that, but
well, I mean, Chelsea do have a history in that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has talked about playing the youth, and we have seen a bit of youth, but I do want to see more of that. And although Cardiff is, for the most part, a pointless match, it's interesting to see what sort of team Ole Gunnar Solskjaer puts out. Is he going to go for youth? I hope he does. I don't want to see Solskjaer play the same boys that he's for the last few months, and it hasn't worked. I want to see players like Greenwood, Chong, Gomez get game time, and that is what I'm looking forward to in this Cardiff match. And in terms of players that I'd like to see us bring in, I want us to bring in young, hungry players that are trying to make the step to Manchester United. Not players like Dybala and Gareth Bale, which are going to cost a huge fraction of our transfer budget and are coming here for that big final paycheck, like Sanchez. I don't want to see those types of players. I want to see players that are fit there to fight for the badge, and they're the type of players we're going to need to bring in to build this club for the future, which Solskjaer has talked about.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's a leg that Man United want to stand on strong, really. The fact that they want to build a team that isn't specifically on, or a player is on £400,000 a week and they're on the bench, like you say, a seat warmer. We don't want them sort of players. And you could tell by Alexis Sanchez the other day when he came off after that injury, just not, I don't know, he was lacking, wasn't he? The way he came off, and the way he looked at Solskjaer on the way off through the tunnel, you know what I mean, was sort of like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think it's sort of a reversal thing. I think Man United fans want him out too. But it's just depending on who would want to pay Sanchez's wages, if he wants someone to pay him that wages, because he might have to take a drop. Because I don't know whether he's someone. I don't think Real Madrid are going to go for him. I don't think Barcelona will go back for him. I don't think Juventus will go for him. I mean, they've got Ramsey for 400,000 or 350,000 it is a week. So I don't see Sanchez going anywhere else in Europe. It'd have to be someone like China or America to be able to pay the wages, and I don't think even he'd want to go there. So I think we're stuck with him, really, to be fair.
For me, Sanchez, I would be prepared to pay out his wage, or let him go to a club that isn't quite as big and pay half of his wage, because his influence in the dressing room is toxic. Now, I don't know the man. I'm not going to call him out as a bad person, but I think the fact that he is on more than twice than our best players in that club doesn't create a good feeling in that dressing room. A player that has largely been a flop. He's only scored less than a handful of goals, and he's on this huge wage bill, the most expensive player in football. It's mental, and I think the sooner we get him out of our club, the better for the dressing room and future.
I agree with that, mate. So talking about results this weekend, obviously we've got Cardiff at home. What do you think the result will be? And how do you think we should play as our last game of the season, just for the fans, especially away fans that are travelling down? How do you think we should be doing it?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? If we play youth and we lose, I won't be mad. I'd rather we lost with hungry young players that we're going to see next season than play the old players, which have been a disgrace to the shirt the last few months. Score prediction, I think we will win comfortably. Let's say 3-0. I mean, Cardiff, come on, they're an already relegated side. We did just play Huddersfield and draw, which is the reason why we shouldn't play our first team players. It's interesting, and I think it could be a good contest if we put some of the younger players. If we do play the old boys, then I don't want to see the fans clap those players off. I think they will clap them off if he plays the like of Charles Gomez, Greenwood. I don't think he will. I don't think the fans will. Sorry, if the old boys play.
I agree, mate. Yeah, so I want to see a young team too. I think that would probably be the best thing for Man United. Last game, nothing to play for. Just got to wait for next season, haven't we? You got to wait for the transfer window to open and see what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ed Woodward, and the rest of the board, the Glazers, do. So yeah, I mean.
What do you think about the unfollow Man United movement? You got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it ain't gonna work.
No.
I think it'll work?
Well, that alone won't do anything, but I think it could be a stepping stone onto bigger things. And I think that's the intention of the movement, because we have seen a slight dip, but nothing substantial. It may be the route to bigger things. I think it's a discussion of how we tackle this issue at the club than actual driving force behind Glazers out.
Yeah,
but it could
I think
lead
so.
To bigger things. Yeah.
Yeah, it could do. I mean, it's a good thing to do, I guess, but I just don't think it'll work. You know, I mean, you're trying to take over someone who owns something just by unfollowing them on Twitter isn't really going to stop people watching Man United, is it?
No.
You know, we're still going to watch them. We're still going to buy the shirts. I think.
And as soon as we sign a big player, everyone will follow back.
Well, yeah, of course they will. That's the thing. I think the only thing we can do is to just put pressure on, like we have. There has been pressure from every media outlet for the last year has been Man United, Man United, Man United. What's going on? What's going on? To miracle Solskjaer, caretaker manager, to what's going on. Everybody around the world knows there's something going on at Man United that isn't right, and they should be able to respond to that. They're business people. I mean, if you watch the news in the morning, you hear Amazon's falling and failing in their results of profits. Do you know what I mean? It's making news. It's going to make things different. So they know. I think they know the fact that people are going to be more interested in Liverpool in the next season or so.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they're playing more Liverpool games, probably, as you know, in America than they are Man United games. Yeah. Which hasn't been the case since the start of showing games in America. So
one thing I've noticed, just an input from the American perspective, is I've noticed in recent years there's a lot more Liverpool fans, City fans, Tottenham fans even, and Manchester United fans in America, particularly with the younger, the kids. There's definitely less Man United fans now.
And makes sense.
It does, yeah. And
Glory hunters, mate. Glory hunters, mate. That's what it is.
A lot of them are, yeah.
I supported Man United in '89. They were not very good then. But there was something about them, obviously, when I was younger that was like, yes, go for it. And then, boom. I picked right, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't. It was either them or Liverpool, to be fair, when I was younger. You know what I mean? or Arsenal, but it wasn't going to be Arsenal for me. How about you? Did you have any influences?
My dad is a Manchester United fan. He had a season ticket for about 20 years until we came out here. So yeah, that's my main factor.
So he's probably annoyed right now as well.
Yeah, and his years as a fan, and a lot of people have said this, it's the most detached he's felt on this playing squad. He hasn't got any affection for them, and yeah, he sees a major, as do I, a major rebuild that needs to take place.
It's like, it's like a reversal, mate. I watched an interview the other day, a Tottenham fan, 60 years old, never seen his team do so well in the Champions League or European League for that matter. And yeah, like you say, like your dad hasn't been so fond of the team for the first very time in probably his life.
Yeah.
Whereas that guy's never really thought Tottenham would ever make the Champions League final, and they did. So it's just sort of swings and roundabouts. Football can be, anything can happen. And like I say, I'm pretty sure Man U will get back to their top perch. Eventually, I think it will take more than a few years. I can see us challenging for the Premier League next year if we buy the right players and we buy them at the right time. We gel them in pre-season, take them on tour, get them to know everybody, and then get them to understand the Premier League instead of just buying players like halfway during or a quarter way during the quarter of the Premier League start. You know what I mean? And just like Di Maria and like just bringing them in when it's the wrong time and they couldn't actually settle in and start it off fully and properly. Yeah, that's how I feel anyway.
Yeah, well, as the chant goes, we'll keep the red flags flying high because Man United will never die.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
You need to put that on Twitter, mate.
Yeah.
You might get a lot of dislikes from other fans, but I think you'll get a lot of likes from Man United fans now. Well, Luke, thank you very much for joining us today. And very sorry that I'm out and about.
No worries.
You can't see my face. But, shout out your Twitter and everything else, mate, and let everybody follow you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's United Focus. And, please do follow me on Twitter and YouTube.
Thank you, Luke. And please do subscribe to us too. We are on 105 subscribers now in 6-7 weeks. It's not too bad, really.
Fantastic.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in a year. Luke, thank you very much, and we'll get you on. Do you know what? We'll get you on like as soon as possible because the league's over on Sunday, and it'd be nice to hear your summary of the whole league. Anyway, that's it, man. Thank you very much, and enjoy the prom tonight.
Thank you.
Enjoy it, mate.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.